Now, new figures have just dropped, and it ain't good for Australia. We have the most expensive power prices in the Asia Pacific. According to new numbers, Australian households are paying 41 cents per kilowatt hour. That's double the price that South Koreans are paying. It's 190% more than what Indonesians are paying, 220% more than what they're paying in China, and 400% more than Bangladesh. Now, 30 years ago, Australia had the lowest power prices in the world. On a per capita basis, we have more coal and uranium than any other country anywhere else on the planet, and power prices are still on the rise, despite the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, promising that power bills would come down by $275 by 2025. Well, here we are. We're in 2025, and we haven't seen the power prices come down. They've gone up and up and up. And there's something else happening in 2025. It's a federal election. Now, Chris Bowen is facing a fight in his own seat because in the last 24 hours, Matt Camonzuli has announced that he'll be running against Mr. Bowen. He's a successful businessman and former Liberal Party heavyweight, and Matt Camonzuli is with me in the studio right now. Matt, good morning to you.
Morning, Ben. It's great to be here.
You're taking on Chris Bowen. Have you heard any reaction from Mr. Bowen yet?
I haven't heard any reaction from Mr. Bowen. I don't expect to see a reaction from Mr. Bowen. He jumped off X, if you remember. He's gone and hidden from the world, and he blocks anybody who has any criticism for him. So I think he's hiding under his desk.
I believe you made the announcement yesterday right outside his office. Is that right?
That's exactly what I did, yeah. Me and a few friends.
What are the locals saying? What have you heard so far from people in McMahon?
Look, the response has been excellent, both from the people inside of McMahon and all over Australia as well. I mean, it's just been crazy. I mean, people are done with Chris Bowen and his antics, and in particular, the people in McMahon are the most done. I haven't heard a good thing from anybody that I talk to.
I'll tell you what, your timing's good because I just mentioned those new figures out, and we're paying 400% more than what they're paying in Bangladesh, 220% more than China, 190% more than Indonesia.
Yep.
How did we go from having the cheapest in the world to the most expensive in the world?
See, that's not an accident. That's just incompetence. What we've got is a situation where, for a little while now, people have been very, very focused, particularly people in government, people like Albanese, people like Bowen, are very, very focused on pleasing all these friends of theirs that are able to manufacture stuff in countries that have very, very cheap power and bring it here and pretend to generate power in Australia with it, when we could be using our own resources. We should have the cheapest power in the world. We are an energy superpower. And it's just the incompetence of the people in charge that is doing it.
No doubt you'll be hammering home these numbers and these statistics to everyone in the lead up to the vote in McMahon.
Absolutely. The problem we've got right now is we've got a government led by people like Albanese and most certainly Chris Bowen, that is bribing big companies, big aluminium companies, to stay in Australia because it's energy intensive and they have to bribe them. So they're taxing us and they're borrowing money that our kids will have to pay off so they can, pay these people to stay in the country and do business and also charge us more for electricity at the same time.
I think people would be a little bit more understanding if someone like Chris Bowen said, you know what? I need to be honest with you. Prices have gone up because we've been transitioning away from some forms of energy to other forms of energy. And you know what? In this period in the middle here, I need to acknowledge here that prices have gone up, but he won't even admit that, Matt.
No, he won't. Look, what he wants to do is make silly videos and put them up on the internet about him drinking premium beers in front of the electorate whilst we've got all these excises on our fuel and our beer and everything else, and cover over the fact that they have trashed the grid, destroyed our energy capability, which is making doing business hard, and then they're trying to pay people off with $275 on their power bill. But you won't notice that, Ben. You won't notice that because they're very, very busy putting the price up all the time anyway, so you can't even see it.
The man you're listening to is businessman Matt Camonzuli. He's taking on Chris Bowen at the upcoming election. You would have had a close look at the seat because you're a former Liberal Party heavyweight, so you understand how politics works. What's the lay of the land there in McMahon as far as the stranglehold that Chris Bowen has on the seat and other potential candidates in the mix?
Sure. Look, I think that's a great question, Ben. Look, I grew up in McMahon, so I was born in. Well, I wasn't born in Greystanes. I was born in a hospital near there. But I grew up in Greystanes, which is right in the electorate. My first job was in Smithfield. I've been a product of McMahon. I'm a Western Sydney boy. I live right near there now. I love the place, and I understand the the character of the area, nobody's ever taken McMahon seriously but the Labor Party for so long. So there really hasn't been a serious choice there. And I'm saying I want to go back home because it's always been my home. I am a McMahon guy, right? Like, I love the place. And I'm just watching so much tragedy
What's
in
it going to take to knock him off? How big is the mountain that you've got to climb?
Mate, it's going to be hard. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Labor Party has been strong in the area for a very, very long time. But look, the Labor Party's a lie. It's not there for the people. It abandoned the workers years ago, and I've just watched everything dilapidate and fall apart, and people are hurting.
If there are locals who want to support you and support your campaign, no doubt they can get in touch with you. If you want to reach out to us, I'm sure you'd be happy for us to pass on people's numbers. And
absolutely.
We'll talk to you during the election campaign. Finally, your message for Mr. Bowen.
My message is, Chris, we're coming because we want to get Australia back.
Mr. Bowen, good morning to you. Matt Camanzulli, good to talk to you. We'll talk to you during the campaign.
Thank you very much, Ben.